Hello, everybody. How you guys doing today? This is another episode of Dev Taught Us How to Live. This is episode 608, and I am so happy that you guys here to join us on this lovely day. We've been talking with a lot of great people all season long, and today's not going to be any different. We're going to have a great episode, and I want to make sure that we understand where we are right now. If you guys are on TikTok, or if you're on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, you could put any comments in there whatsoever and ask our guests, and we will play them live so you guys can get an understanding of what these two doctors are actually talking about. So, without any further ado, I'm going to get on here two great individuals. They're doctors. They're both surgeons and also authors. But the twist behind it is that they had a incident happen within their lives. One of them had a stroke, and now they want to share their story of what happened to them after this stroke came into their lives. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves and tell you who had the actual stroke, because I like to have that little mystery. So I have Dr. Samy and Dr. Murugappan on, and he's gonna come on and she's gonna come on and tell us about themselves. So doctors, how you guys doing today?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
I am great. Thank you for asking. So, a stroke. One of you had a stroke, and I'm going to let you guys break that down for us. But I know you guys are author of a book called Frontiers, and it talks about exactly that. You know, you have an understanding of being medical professionals in your field and living the best life. Well, I don't know if it was the best life that you guys ever had, but living your best life. Then all of a sudden, one of you had a stroke and everything changed. Can you break down what that was and why you guys wrote this book called Frontiers?
Oh, yes. I'm the one who had the stroke. The stroke was in 2017, September 27th. I was in the hospital working the whole day, and the previous day I was on call, so I was really tired. At the end of the day, I was going to go back home because I was hungry also. But just before going, I got a call from the emergency room telling me they have admitted a lady the previous night under me for an abscess in her leg, and they requested whether I could see her before I could go home. I obliged and went to see her, and sure enough, she had an abscess, and I was getting ready to operate on her just in the bedside. After giving her the local freezing, I was about to incise the abscess when I felt something move inside my head from the left to the right, and the next thing I knew was I couldn't stand. Both my legs buckled. The nurse who was by the side of me, she realized that something was going on and she pushed the chair towards me, and I was able to fall into the chair. Luckily, the chair had a cushion and all that, so that was okay. That was how it started, and they realized that I had a stroke because my one side of my face was pulling, and they call it a witness stroke. And true enough, they took me straight to the emergency room, and I had the clot busting medicine within 20 minutes of realizing I had a stroke. I was pretty lucky because I was in the hospital, and I think that aspect of it has helped tremendously in the recovery of my stroke. Now, this is my good wife, Dr. Samy. Without her help, I wouldn't have come to this stage. I let her tell the story.
So that was the start of our stroke journey. And so, uh, I mean, anyone of
1 minute, 1 minute. Before we go any further, when I
okay.
come off the screen, you guys are getting cut off a little bit. So, can you adjust your camera for the vertical people that's going to be out there for people that's on TikTok and Instagram? So, whoever is talking, just move the camera to that particular
Okay.
person and then come back and forth.
Okay.
Okay. So once Siva had the stroke, and the journey starts where he's treated, he's in ICU, and then there's rehabilitation. So I spent a lot of time in the hospital with him, and uh, I went to that little library they had, and I found a book on stroke. And it was interesting to see what they were discussing. And as our journey went along, I thought that our story should be shared too, because Siva is unique in the way that he was a surgeon, and he still is, but he really wanted to go back to being a surgeon, and that's not a easy road or path. So I thought that story should be shared, and that the idea developed when he was in hospital on the rehab floor, and then it materialized almost 6 years later. That's when the book was published. Yeah.
Okay, I'm very blown away by this story. First of all, doctor, you said you was in the emergency room doing or prepping, or was you actually in the middle of surgery and you had a stroke?
Yeah, I was doing surgery when I had a stroke.
Okay, like I'm trying to imagine, Dr. Samy, what's going through your mind. Your husband's doing surgery, and all of a sudden you hear that he's going to become a patient now. Now, how is that adjustment happening within your mind, with your medical knowledge that you already have? How is that adjustment happening for you, and how you thinking life is going to change after this?
So actually, when it happened, he was in the emergency department. They contacted me. I was in my office. I was by his bedside in like under 15 minutes. And,
I don't mean to
at
interrupt you again, Dr. Samy, but still on this one, you got to really move it over, all the way over to you, so get both your shoulders. There we go.
So I was by his bedside in 15 minutes, and they were talking about the next steps. And what I found was, whatever we were going through, I was there in the moment. I didn't try to think too far ahead, because nobody knows what's going to happen, right, in the future. So I was just present. But it worried him more. He was worried that he's going to be a burden. But I just tried to be there at the moment, doing whatever needs to be done. And that's what I did throughout, Yeah.
So feeling that you're going to be a burden, Dr. Murugappan, how do you actually explain it? Because I know for me, when this happened to me, I was the sole provider in my household, and when I had my stroke, I'm like, man, everything is messed up. My life is over. I don't know what to go from here. What should I do? So I understand that process when you're saying that you feel like it's going to be a burden, and you don't want this to happen for your wife. How did you get over that initial thought of saying that you're a burden, and you say, I am still who I say I am?
So why I thought I'm going to be a burden was because I couldn't move my whole left side. So I knew immediately, okay, I'm going to be handicapped here, and I'm going to need a lot of help. But then the ensuing weeks started giving me the courage and the faith to move on, and I knew I could beat this.
That's interesting, because I've noticed people out there looking at it and looking at your book. Some parts of the book is talking about how you try to get back into your medical field, and you find it very difficult to do that. I know for myself and a lot of other people, they know or they think they are capable of going back to who they were before. What made you have that understanding, say, you know what, I can do what I did before, and I could be pretty good at it? What was that aha moment for you, and why do you are so adamant to actually do your work that you did before?
And my cognition was 100%. Nothing happened to my cognition. So I'm all the while thinking like a surgeon, you see. So this is physical. I can get over it with physiotherapy. I was just thinking like that.
So it's more about, it's like a catch-22, isn't it? It's because you already know all these things about the medical field, and being a patient and going through it, it's like, yeah, you can tell me that I'm supposed to be doing this, but I know the knowledge and I actually have the practical experience because I've been through it. So I'm the best candidate to understand if I am capable of doing it or not. Is that correct?
You know what? It's a good thing you asked me that, because that was a huge pressure on me.
Right.
Because you're a doctor, you're a surgeon, you know a lot of things, so you should be able to do it. Everybody expects you. The nurses expect you to do it. So there's no shortcuts there. So if they say you have to do this exercise, if they ask me to do 5 times, I'll do 10 times.
And I think that's what's happening here. And Dr. Samy, can you help us out with this? Because you're seeing this with your medical eyes, but you don't have the eyes that you or your husband has. So you're seeing this and you're understanding what's going on with him and people putting that extra pressure on him. How did you address it to him that he is capable and if he says he's not capable, that you understood that and you didn't push him too far or made him overextend himself?
Well, with any neurological problem, the recovery is, I think, even medical professionals are not able to predict clearly how each individual is going to recover, because it depends on the deficits, it depends on the individual. There's too many variabilities. But, watching him go to therapy, I gave him the, you know, encouragement, but I was lucky because he had a lot of motivation. He was like motivated to get back. That has to come from the survivor, right? We even though we are there for him, supporting, loving, being there, present, whatever, that work to get back to your previous self, that he has to do the work. His body has to recover, and those he did the work, and the body will recover when it recovers. We can't control that. But the work helps the body to recover, right? So I was there to support him, but he was motivated. That is why I think he succeeded so much, because of his own willpower and motivation. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can I add something to that?
Please.
She was one who didn't say, Siva, why are you going through all these things? You don't need to fully recover to go back to work. Why go back to work? She could have easily said that. But no, she was encouraging. Yes, Siva, you can do it. That was a big aha moment, as you put it.
I think that's what a lot of stroke survivors miss, is that, yeah, you have these deficits, yeah, these things are happening, but Dr. Samy, you said it perfectly. He was motivated. He had the motivation. It's more internally what you're thinking up here, and that's going to help you recover better. And if you don't have it up here, and Dr. Murugappan, you basically said, if your wife didn't give you that push to say, hey, you can go. If you don't want to go, don't want to go. But if you want to go, you go. She didn't put negative thoughts in your head. So it kept on moving forward. And I think that's what the missing gap is, what a lot of people don't understand, is that, one, you have to be motivated. And two, you have to have a great partner to believe that you are going to do what you're going to do. Is that right? Am I saying this correctly?
Very correct. Constantly motivating.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
I mean, in 1 week you motivate, and the next week you say, okay, no need, then it just goes down. But this is a constant push. It's like a coach coaching the Olympians or whatever you call.
We are Olympians, sir. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We definitely are. So I had this one couple, and I love seeing couples like this, like you two, having each other's back. But there was one thing that this one caregiver wife said, that someone asked her. She said, you guys just got married and all your plans that you have for the future are completely gone. How are you going to survive this? And her response was, plans are plans, and you have scope creep and things change, things adjust. We just adjusted our sights to do what we want to do now, according to how life is now and what kind of expectations we have within our life. Nothing is diminished, it's just more ideas that we have. Do you guys feel the same way?
Yes, I would say yes, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you can't predict what life is going to throw you, right? Anything can happen tomorrow.
Right.
So once all your plans, if you plan 20 year ahead, is everything you plan going to materialize? Not necessarily.
Right.
So, you just set the sail again and move along the path that has been given to you, find new adventures. That's the best way to live your life. Yeah.
Now I'm hearing this story, I'm hearing all this stuff, and then you said there was a book that was involved in all this that you guys created. Now, can you give me a little bit of a synopsis of what this book is all about and why our readers or our listeners should actually go out and read it?
Well, the book is about everything we started talking about that, from the day of the stroke, uh, and Siva's determination to get back to who he was, because Siva is had a huge practice. He's a general surgeon, and I think he was, in terms of his identity, he was a surgeon first, then a husband, and then a father. That part of who he was so strong that when he lost he was like struggling to find his way, to find what his new role in life was. And he was determined to go back to what he knew and what he did so wonderfully. So the book talks about that whole path, and also goes back to where he started off in medical school. So it talks about his whole life, as well as the struggle and the stumbling blocks to get back to practice. It was not easy. And whatever people are going through in life, it doesn't have to be a stroke, it could be cancer, it could be a chronic disease, or any difficulties in life. The emotions I think people go through is similar. So we thought sharing those emotions and the ups and downs will help whoever it helps. It'll help somebody. Some people can relate to that. So that's why it was my idea to write the book, and Siva was happy to follow. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
So
just like to add one more thing to that. The main aspect of it is for the audience to know that this is possible. Once that gets into the mindset, then they start working. That's what I believe.
I love that. I love that. It's all about getting into that mindset. And Dr. Samy, you said it earlier, it's all about the survivor, how they actually think about it. It's so many different times I go into physical therapy, and they will say to me, the physical therapist say to me, can you take whatever you have in your head and put it into my other patients, because they're defeated. They can walk, but they don't think they can. And that really messes with me, because I'm like, I have it. I wish I could just take it out of me and put it in you. But a lot of people don't have that same type of motivation. So I'm really appreciative. So there's someone on TikTok that came on and asked a question. I think we actually talked right through it. This is key. She said, would you say having a present and supportive partner was a great motivator for your recovery? I mean, we already answered that part, but I just want to make sure that we shouted out Key on TikTok so she could understand that we're actually talking about her.
That is one of the most important aspects of recovery. For a person to have a loved one by the side of them, encouraging them in the process of recovery, that is a huge thing. I mean, you can have all these machines around you and all that, or hire somebody to be with you, but it's nothing like a loved one by the side of you, trying to do things for you. And that's a big motivation.
I can't agree with you more. It's a weird thing, because for me, and please let me know if I'm off on this and if you did feel this way. After my stroke, I was very sensitive to people talking to me, and if they was really genuine or not. I could tell if they was lying to me or really wanted me to be better. So you're absolutely correct. When you have a great partner that's giving you that love and you trust that person and say, hey, I give everything to you. And if I fall, I know you'd be there to pick me up. That is a great motivation for me as a stroke survivor. Was that the same type of mentality that you
Oh,
had?
yes.
Okay. I get it.
I
get
think
it.
that is very, very important.
I get it. Dr. Samy, I see something in your eyes. Something happened. What's your thought?
Well, I'm glad. Sometimes you don't hear it from your partner that I was, but you come on a platform like this and I hear it indirectly, right? Like he really appreciated that support.
No,
But
and I think I'm glad you did bring that up, Dr. Sam. And I just want to let you know this, as a fellow stroke survivor, the person that was closest to us, we gave him hell. I'm telling you, and the reason why we give him hell is because we're trying to impress you. And sometimes we don't know that we're overstepping, and we're so grateful that you're still there. So we're going to give you all the ugly, nasty stuff, but we still love you. And we don't know how to express it sometimes. We might be overbearing because we're trying to get back to who we were before. So I don't know if that's the situation that you guys had, but I know a lot of people.
So we had those bad days. So
yeah. But it's not you. It's not you. We're not trying to take it out on you. We're just trying to fight to get back to who we were. And it sometimes
but sometimes that process, it can be hard on that relationship,
Yes.
And we had those dark days, I had them anyway. I can't speak for my husband, but then you get through it, because you try to look at the survivor's perspective, right? They are struggling to find, get control of their own life so when you change your perspective and look at their perspective, then you calm down and you don't attack or you don't judge, like you pick your battles. And because I can keep talking about this, but
No, you can.
yeah.
No,
So
I won't.
it's sometimes with the person who is the patient or the victim or the survivor, it's like they're so focused on themselves. It's all about me, how, or it can. And you're the caregiver, give, it's like it's sometimes it seems almost like selfish, right? But then, and this is not something 2-3 months, it's like years, it takes years to, because I think he's still recovering, right? So, but when you go through those periods, you have to fall back on communicating how we are feeling, and not attacking. And so the foundation is a good relationship to begin with, even before all this happened.
Yes.
But then you're
Yes.
finding your grounding again because the path has changed, the scenarios have changed, our roles have changed. So we have to forge a new path where our roles are different, So it's a fine dance, fine tune, but it's not like a walk in the park. Oh yeah, we are a great couple, everything was great all the time. No.
I get it. Dr.
Yeah.
Murugappan, I can see your face. You want to say something too, sir. What did you want to say?
I was like this throughout the period. Don't say anything. Yes.
But Dr. Sim, I'm glad you bring this up because I want people to understand that when someone has a stroke, their partner goes through it even more than the person that even had the stroke.
And
Yes.
invisible. They are invisible too.
Well, it seems like we got some comments coming in, so let's read them and see what we have that our people are asking us out there. Comments, please come up on the screen. This is Donna. This is so true. My mom died from a stroke. She had a caregiver, but was the happiest person when a loved one or her kids were around. Do we have to support our loved ones with a stroke? Oh, we do have to support our loved ones with a stroke.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, that should be so. Yeah. Donna Dunkley, we absolutely agree with you. It should be so. And I think, Dr. Samy, you said something very interesting. And I think people don't really understand that is that just because you guys are smiling right now doesn't mean that last week you guys didn't have an argument of how to actually navigate this life, but you guys had a great relationship before and you communicate. I think we really brushed on that, but I want you guys to go a little bit deeper on that communication. How important is that to be emotionally intelligent, to have patience with your husband day in and day out?
Oh, that is critical, very important, and you should be also sensitive to when to communicate what, because when he's struggling and you are having certain feelings, be patient, give him the time, and when he's calmer, he's happier, we talk about something. So the whole process is not just about stroke, how he's going to get better, rehab, medications. That's just part of it.
Right.
The other part is about our life as it is happening at that time, what the future looks like. We used to have those conversations, and we as a family did quite a few trips. I mean, he had assistance on the flights, with the children. We went to a few different countries. So I think that foundation of communication and having those breaks and release, it fosters that relationship. Yeah.
I do have a question about your book. You said earlier about the book, it is about the stroke survivor recovery and the caregiver of that, but it could be for anybody, any situation, not
Yes.
necessarily just for stroke. Did you guys intentionally do it that way, or it just morphed into that?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
So actually, we didn't intend for it, but then after we wrote it, there were a few people reading it, even in the hospital, and telling us, "Look here, man, this can be for any situation.
Right.
This can be applied like a formula."
There are parts of the book which, the emotions which are talked about. I had friends who said, I went through that too when I was going through the loss of my mother or something like that.
Right.
They
Right.
could relate to parts of the book because the emotions and the struggles sometimes can happen in any scenario, right? So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that too. Like I do this show and I do speeches, I do talks, I motivate people, and people come back to me and say, I didn't have a stroke, but what you said is relevant to life. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So now I have this question for both of you two, and I want each one of you answer it. How do you see life now?
I'll answer first. So after having a stroke and going back to being a surgeon, just doing minor surgery, it's still surgery, and I work almost 4 days a week. I am busy. But it comes to a point that, like, I want to slow down. So what is happening in my mind is I'm juggling between, do I want to become a shepherd or do I want to do research? But I know I want to completely cut away from digital world. because that messes me up. I know for sure. So I think shepherd is better, I think.
What
Okay.
is that?
Shepherd means I'm a cow herd. I go look after cows in the meadows.
Okay.
That's it. Simple days, simple days, simple
Yeah.
nights. Dr. Samy?
Yeah, for me, it's about living in the moment and being grateful for everything we have today, and I think the biggest aspect of my life which has changed since going through all this is the spiritual growth.
Mm.
I believe more in a higher power, and I know how to let go of negative things. So anyway, I still work full time, and you can have good days and bad days, and I don't like to control too much. When things don't go my way, I just say it's okay. you know so I think that kind of resilience I developed because of this journey. And yeah, that's how I have changed, I think.
Okay. Um, I wasn't sure what your answer was going to be, Dr. Samy, but Dr. Murugappan, I already knew your answer because that's the type of way I feel too. Like all the accomplishment I had and all the things I was aspiring to do, I don't really care about that no more. I just want to relax. And if you need knowledge, hey, I gave it to you, but I don't want to make $1 billion or $1 million anymore.
Yeah.
That's my past. I don't care. But Dr. Samy, what you said, that's pretty interesting that you didn't go through a life-altering situation, but you did because within your heart, the love that you have for your husband and how precious life is transformed you. I'm very curious about that transformation. When did that actually happen for you?
It was gradual, but what you realize is, especially with neurological problems, you cannot control the outcomes. So I've learned that you can't control what's going to happen to you today or tomorrow. So I go with the flow. I've become more easygoing. Like, I just take it one day at a time. I start my day with gratitude. And if things don't go well, then I'll say it's okay. Let it go. And yeah.
We have someone from Instagram that brought a message. Let me just read it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
They said, this is a great conversation. This is Joy Roselle 229 said, this is such an important conversation to have. So she's very grateful that you two are actually talking about this so publicly and openly. I don't know. Is this because, Dr. Sam, this is for you. Is this because you understand exactly what's happened to your husband that gives you more insight to being patient? Or is this person that things that you have personally within you that you say, I need to be patient because I have learned what actually happened to him?
Well, I think that personal development of, good habits and resilience and patience, uh, I always was curious about that and always read a lot on those subjects, even before this all happened. And when we had to navigate through the stroke, it just became seamless. Like, I adopted a lot of what I was imbibing all those years, right? So, but after, like, he's independent, he's doing everything, he golfs, he does everything. Now it's like, yeah, it's like I feel more at peace, and I feel I've learned that you cannot control what is happening in your life, so that gives me peace to accept whatever comes my way. Yeah.
That's beautiful. You've learned that you are not in control. And, and that's amazing because, and I'm not trying to beat you two up, but I have worked with doctors before. Some of them are the most arrogant people on earth, but you guys have learned, and this is very interesting that you said that as a doctor, you have learned that you're not in control. that anything can happen, that one day everything could be fine and the next day gone. And you accepted it and you're comfortable with that. Not saying that you waiting for that to happen, but you have built your life on understanding that you're not in control of something much higher spiritual connection that you have. And I really appreciate you saying that to our audience. So I'm really flabbergasted about all this stuff, because I wish that I had this type of information with me when I had my stroke, when I had my marriage. I personally left my marriage because I didn't feel that my then wife could handle the new me. I could just, I saw it. I saw a lot of things. I'm like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. It's going to affect my children. I might as well take myself out the picture. So that's that's the brain that I had. So Dr. Samy, you said something a little bit earlier, and I think people don't understand that part. You said, he golfs, he does his thing. He's very independent. But you also said, I don't think he's fully recovered. And I think a lot of people don't understand that just because you could do all these physical things all over again doesn't mean that you're 100% recovered. Do you want to explain what you mean by that, so other people out there that look at stroke survivors 5-6 years out and they are independent, but they still have deficits that are visible? Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, I think what is visible is only when people appear like almost, very challenged or handicapped. But I think with strokes and neurological deficits, the recovery can be happening and ongoing for years after the stroke. And sometimes it's not visible, but the person who is going through it feel it. And Siva until today has still a slight limp on his weaker side. I mean, he still would walk 9 holes on a golf course because he thinks it's exercise. But when we walk a lot, his right hip is compensating for the left hip, and he has a lot of pain there. So that doesn't hold him back. But, like compared to 3 years ago, I feel his walk has improved. So I think there's still some changes happening, and the coordination for like some finer things. When he's fatigued, he can still feel he tightens up a bit, his muscles, and only he feels it. Nobody can see it, But so that tells me like he's still recovering, Yeah.
So Dr. Murugappan, how does that make you feel when you hear this? Like, that you're doing these things is making yourself recover, but your wife, she's also a doctor too, and she's noticing these things and saying, hey, you might be doing a little bit too much. You need to slow down. And that she understands your deficits and understands how to manage you. How does that make you feel all around?
I mean, I would say it is mostly because of her I have come to this stage. So I'm in a mindset, no matter what she says now, it's not going to affect me. It's like, okay, this is how, because she says I play golf and all that, so she expects me to be in full top physical condition. So why she's saying that is, when we walk in the airports and it's a long way to walk, she cannot walk slow. She walks very fast. And I'm not able to keep up.
Right. I get it.
So that is superlative. The expectation is too much there.
So now you brought up another interesting fact that, and I'm glad that you guys laugh and smile about it, but there is a thing that we sometimes don't understand how to communicate to other people. I'm trying to keep up with you, but it's hard. Please be patient with me. I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to do this. How do you get around that when you see that? Like, and I don't think Dr. Samy is doing it on purpose. That's just who she is. That's who she is.
What she is.
Yeah, that's who I completely get. We completely get it. But how do you communicate to her that it's okay?
So straight away I'll tell her, you go ahead first. I'll catch up. Wait for me.
Yeah, I usually walk. I don't know how to walk slow. So I walk fast, and then I'll wait for him to catch up, and then I'll walk fast and I'll so
So I have another question. Do you live vicariously through your wife? Like, if she wants to, let's just say you guys go to an event and she likes to dance, and you can't dance anymore, and you just like seeing her dance or go on a roller coaster, and you feel fine about it, or do you like, nah, don't do that because I can't do it? How do you feel about that? And how, Dr. Samy, how do you handle such situations that your husband can't do anymore? Do you hold yourself back from doing it, or do you do it?
She'll be worried that I might try to do it and have problems.
Yeah, he's the
How do
adventurous
you guys navigate that? How do you navigate that?
He's the adventurous one. He wants to go do stuff. He climbed a mountain like higher than Everest Base Camp 3 months
Seriously?
before his.
No, I went on a pilgrimage in Tibet. It's there in the book.
Okay.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, I went up to 19,800 feet.
No, you did it after your stroke.
No.
Before.
Okay. See,
So-
you threw me off.
I
So you
went
got
there,
purposely.
came
You didn't
back and
purposely.
had
You
a
didn't say
stroke.
pre-stroke or post-stroke. Okay, pre-stroke. Okay.
Pre-stroke,
I'm
yeah.
with you now.
So he was like, in those days, he wanted to go up Everest. He's that kind of guy, right?
Right.
I'm totally the opposite. I'm happily sitting at home and reading a book.
Okay. So
So I wouldn't do anything. He will do something which he shouldn't be doing, and I'll have to talk him out of it more like.
okay, I understand now. So you guys mentioned children. How old are your children? Are they still living with you, or are they grown?
My children are 31 and 26
Oh,
now.
so they're grown.
Yeah.
And when you had your stroke, they was already grown already.
Yeah.
Yes, they were in university, and my daughter was just finishing high school. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now we're at the time of the show. It's what's called our hot seat questions. During these hot seat questions, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I want you to give me quick responses. Since there were two of you, I have some questions that are double-headed, one for the husband, one for the wife. So we're going to answer these questions, and when you're finished each question, say, AVM Superhero, I'm ready for my next question. Keep the answers short because I want to make reels out of them. And then we get to our fourth question. I want you to close up the show. I will not come back onto the show. I'm going to have you guys close the show, give the audience any information that they need about how to find your book or any information that you want to give them to close out the show. So are you two ready for your hot seat questions?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Question number one. Drum roll, please. Question number one. Oh, let's go. Now, this is a two-headed monster, so let's deal with it with two-headed monster. How do you handle being a surgeon and a stroke survivor / caregiver? So I don't care which one goes first, but you guys go handle this question.
So I think me handling being a surgeon after being a stroke survivor has got everything to do with my training to be a surgeon. So I think it's already ingrained, and that is still there in myself. So that kept me going. I didn't really think about, okay, how am I going to do this? Not really. It's just automatic, like,
Me? Okay, so as a surgeon, I'm trained to solve problems for others, but caregiving for my spouse, there's the emotional distance is closer. It's not like with patients, right? So you're more involved. And what I learned is that I cannot fix everything. I have to be patient and be supportive. And so being a surgeon and a caregiver, since I have the knowledge, I could also help indirectly by talking to physicians and nurses and making sure he got everything that he needed during the recovery.
You guys didn't say AVM superhero. I'm ready for the next question.
AVM superhero. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. I'm gonna stay on the screen because whenever I come off, the split happens very bad for the Instagram and TikTok world. So I'm gonna stay on the screen. Question number 2. How do you handle the middle ground of being a wife and a caregiver?
It's a fine balance. Like, I mean, I was a wife long before his stroke, so that there's a relationship and a foundation based on love. Hello?
Yeah, keep talking.
So, but yeah, can you repeat the question?
How are you able to manage the middle ground?
The question was, how do you handle the middle ground of being a wife and a caregiver?
Okay, yes. So a wife is, that's our relationship based on, love and care and affection. And caregiving was just an extension. But I, had to be more present and not worry too much about our relationship, our future, because, I had to think of what needs to be done on a daily basis. So being in the moment was important. And I also was able to counsel him and support him and give him confidence to remain motivated to become better.
Okay. I can go with that. Question number 3. How has life goals changed for the both of you? We answered that a little bit during the class, but I want you guys to do it individually now.
Okay, I'll go first. My goals for the future has completely taken a 190-degree turn away from the surgical field. I actually want to retire. I want to be free from present world I'm living. Like I said, I want to cut myself off the digital world. Maybe 95%, because still people will be sending you, loved ones will be sending you messages and all that, that we can carry on. And that's basically whatever happens, happens. I'm not, from where I was, I'm not looking forward to accomplish anything further. If I'm there for my family and their kids, I think I will be happy. You know what they say about retirement? That we are waiting to die. But I don't agree with that. You got to keep doing something.
I don't believe that either, sir.
So for me, my goals, I I don't think it has changed too much. I always wanted to be there for my family. First I supported him, and now I'm waiting for my kids to have their own families and support them and live every day with gratitude and not think too far into the future, because this moment, you just have this moment now and then it's gone. So I'm not very like goal orientated anymore. I have achieved a great career and I'm doing well, and so I am very grateful for everything I have. So I want to just enjoy every moment.
Okay. All right. So here's the final question. Now, everybody, like I said, you won't be hearing from me. I'll probably be on the screen because I want to make sure that everything is lined up. But Thank you for joining us this lovely evening, and hopefully everything is well with you guys and everybody is taking time to really be considerate to their stroke survivor, to their caregiver, and really, really understand that this is a new life. This is not a death sentence. This is a entry into a new world that you didn't have any preparation for, and you just have to have patience and love for each other, and you could go much further. So without any further ado, let's do our final question so they can close out the show. Here's your fourth and final question. Does your medical knowledge conflict with your stroke recovery?
Let me go first. My medical knowledge, it did not conflict with my recovery, but I still had to restrain myself from applying to be a surgeon in recovery. I had to keep telling me, no, Siva, you are a patient now. Just listen to them, and period. Because if you start, I mean that this was counseled by me, by my wife also. If I start thinking otherwise, then you're not following the plan of treatment by the physiotherapists and things like that. It's going to be a problem. So let's just be a patient and follow their program.
Well, for me, the medical knowledge, I made it actually work for us because I was always like one step ahead, reading up, knowing what the updated protocols were so that my husband got the best care, and if he wasn't getting something, I was there to ask, and made sure he got it. So I made the medical knowledge work for him, so he got everything that he should get to improve. Yeah.
Okay, that's the final question. So now the show is yours. Please tell us any information that you want to tell our guests, or sorry, our audience, about how they could find you or how they could find your book. Please.
Okay. I would like to conclude, for the sake of the audience, that the main thing about this whole journey is to learn about patience and have faith that a person will recover. These two important things, I cannot overstress it. Faith is very important. People might ask, how do you get blind faith? But when you have a calamity, the faith automatically comes. I think that is why we get this calamity. Anyway, patience is a big factor in the recovery. Thank you all very much for the show.
And my message is to live and take things moment by moment. Don't think too far in the future. Lean on family and friends, because you will need, help. You can't be strong all the time. And a lot of our journey is written in this book. Our book is called Frontiers, The Journey of Two Surgeons. It's available on Amazon, Kindle publishing. And yes, so feel free to read our book or go on our website, and we have many other interviews and events we have done, which you can get inspired from. So thank you so much for having us on this show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing. Your vulnerability and your transparency does wonder for a lot of us, and I really appreciate you too.
Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings and good night.
Good night.